on this computer. Everything gets started. That's it. Did you hit okay?
Yeah, what if I hit leave meeting?
It's really interesting how they have that.
Oh my God! It's been so long. Kevin, do you realize that it's literally been almost a year since we've done one of these?
No, it hasn't.
Okay, okay, not really, but like it's been a whole semester. We didn't do a single one last semester.
I thought, okay, so I was actually trying to think about this because I was trying to figure out whether or not Max existed in the last one.
I don't think so. I just watched some of them
That's
again.
embarrassing.
What? I was looking at my long hair because I miss my
Were
long
you
hair.
doing research on your own life? Like, were you just trying to remember what your life was like back then?
Yeah. Okay. Hey, folks, and welcome back to Elements to Analyze with
Evan.
Leah. You're not even okay.
Are you waving to me? Sorry.
Wow. Okay. I don't even know where to begin. I'm like anxious because I don't even know where to begin. We have so much to fill our fans in on.
All right, what do I have to talk? We should not. I think what happened last time is that here's the jig's up. We recorded an episode. I think it was in September. I want to go with September for some reason. Or no, maybe because it was like after seminar.
No. It was.
Was it before?
I thought it was like, I thought it was before school because we wanted to talk about our school goals.
Maybe did we? I don't know. Anyway, we recorded this garbage episode in combination with the fact that I just lost effort.
Wait, you're right. It was after seminar because I had already cut my hair.
Oh yeah, like I remember that part. Because I was trying to remember. I think I had said like, oh, I'm going to get a cat, but I got Max on September 10th.
Oh, so she was already in it.
I don't know.
No, because I got my hair cut after my seminar, which is on September 23rd.
Okay, now it sounds familiar. Oh, okay. But that never got published, so no one ever saw that video.
Yeah. So anyway, Kevin, long story short, Kevin got a cat.
Yeah, Kevin has a cat. Leah still has Henry.
I still have Henry. He's still kicking it. What's she doing?
She's got her legs spread.
Max, you're on camera. She's nuts. She's actually bonkers.
Yeah, so that's okay. So we have to do better this time. Okay, what's the plan? What today?
What are you? Did you just eat your
What's today, Leah?
Today is January 25th, and it was our first day of school.
Don't you wish that was exciting still?
I was excited. I was really stressed and nervous, but I was excited.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't sleep last night.
I was like, I was trying to think about it in the minutes I was waiting until you popped on about like, why have I hit the time of grad school where it just sucks? I don't know what, it just seems different. Like something seems different that like, it's just, because I was thinking back to past episodes and I was like, oh, it used to be like so, and I'm not saying I'm not excited to do this, but like my life around the podcast was more exciting.
Sure.
And granted, there are a lot of aspects of the whole pandemic thing that could factor into it, but I'm wondering if it's just that. Is it grad school? Just.
It's also the dead of winter.
There's that too. You're right. It's snowing as we speak.
It's like a whiteout.
Yeah. So not to bring down the mood, but yeah, today was the first day of school.
I had a great day.
Today was like fine. I just don't have the. Okay, here's my quick thought is that because I was thinking what you mentioned, you brought back up that we had talked about many moons ago, which is I'm at the stage where there aren't any benchmarks anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like, oh, do stuff until you graduate in 2 years. So it's like, what am I like? What Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So what should we talk about, Leah?
For sure. Well, I mean, since we've last an episode, no one knows that you did your comps.
Oh yes, I am a
PhD candidate.
And what does that mean? Nothing is what I've learned. It means absolutely nothing. Nothing in my life has changed.
Yeah, so that was really exciting. Kevin passed his comms. You can look at it on uiowa./Becker group if you need to go and see our website. Let's see what else happened. Really, nothing else happened. We published hella papers.
Did we?
Oh, I guess we didn't.
Like we haven't, like, I think the Pogel paper had come out. Maybe meta modeling hadn't come out yet.
Oh yeah, no, meta modeling hadn't, and then Kevin's paper hadn't.
Yeah, that came
Kat
out.
published a paper. I haven't done anything yet. And
Yours are in the works. And
yeah,
then it's gonna be
I have 3 in the works.
pow.
Pow, pow, pow. Oh, ha.
What else happened last semester?
Um,
Took my first trip to Fort Mitchell, Kentucky.
yeah, Kevin came to where I grew up. Kevin and Megan. It was so fun. Kevin, how did you feel about Fort Mitchell, Kentucky 41017?
41017. I like the 41017.
4101. Oh, okay. Okay. 41017.
But yeah, I was just thinking, okay, anyhow. It was a quaint little town. I mean, it was cool to see. That was the first time I'd seen Cincinnati. Granted, we didn't like do anything downtown or anything, right? Like we went to a coffee shop and picked up coffee once.
We tried to go to a cool market. It was closed.
Nathaniel.
What?
What was the name of it?
The market?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, wait, I kind of forget now.
Yeah. Phil.
It was Fenley Market.
Fenley. There it is. Yes, that was a nice little trip. That was New Year's.
That was fun.
What else?
Leah's
getting all set for comps.
I finished my proposal, and I worked on my slides today.
Slides, okay, because you have to do for those folks who don't know, there's a presentation in addition to a written proposal. I'm
kind of excited. I had a dream about it last night, actually.
Do you get are you going to think about what's going to be the most stressful point? The about to submit the documents, the waiting period, or right before?
I think all of it. I think I just want to do it, and yeah. I honestly think I'm more nervous for the practices and the feedback of the documents from my peers than I am about doing it in front of my committee.
Well, yeah, that brings up the exact point that I wanted to bring up, which was the feedback process.
Is this our topic of the discussion?
Correct.
Because I have lots of thoughts on this, but did anything else big happen to us, Kevin? Are you forgetting what happened on Saturday?
I ordered some Indian food. No. So Leah. So generally, for those of you that don't know, usually I like to cook a lot and I have a lot of cooking things. So usually what we'll do is we'll do Megan and Shelly and Leah and some combination will come over. I'll cook dinner. My New Year's resolution has been to be better at allowing for help in part of the process, but I have issues and a lot of times I just control the whole process. And Leah took it upon herself to make her own complete meal and host Shelly and I. And she made
chicken tikka masala.
And it was delicious. I actually, honestly, I'm not going to lie to you. Yesterday, I was thinking about it. And it happened 2 days ago. So that means the day after, I was thinking about it. No, it was really good.
Yeah, I made my first meal for people and it was really exciting. And I don't want to ever do it again.
Yeah, how often could you do it? Once every 2 months, 3 months? It is raging out there. Oof.
I think post comps, I could do it every week.
Okay, that's okay.
because it was fun. I just got a plan for it.
Yeah, I feel like you watched 17 hours of videos though. I think you have to factor
I
that.
did. I did.
Wait, I just had a fear that I wasn't. Okay, it's recording.
Yeah, it's recording.
Okay, so back to the topic at hand. Yeah, I
We're
was just
talking
thinking about how, okay, so here's what got me on thinking about it is the other day I was doing a round of feedback for you related to your proposal. And at one point I was going through and there was a figure that you had, and it was a triangular figure. And the way you had structured it is that the text like kept going up to it, so kind of in the shape of a triangle.
Mhm.
And I saw that and I was like, oh, I wouldn't do it that way. Maybe I should make a comment. And I had to stop myself because I was like, oh, the issue with feedback is that we so easily make it opinion based. Like that purely, I was just like, oh, that like, yes, I wouldn't do it that way. And that's fine. But I was like, oh, that's like at some point. But then I started going down the rabbit hole of like, oh, is it more? So maybe this is where the issue comes up where people feel the need to share opinions, is because you may think, oh, that's something that didn't cross your mind. Maybe it wasn't intentional. Maybe it was. And you're like, do I bring it up? But I just was like, no, like that's, that's your choice.
Mm-hmm.
That was my thought. That's what.
And then I think it brings into question, like, what about someone's opinion is valuable to the person who you're giving feedback for? So, like, honestly, if you had given me that comment, I probably would have wanted to discuss it with you further. And like, I wouldn't have just like make the change like right away, just because, oh, it's Kevin's opinion, I'll take that, even though I normally do that. But like, it would be something that I would really want to have a discussion about, which maybe brings into question more that it was more opinionated. Like, I'm trying to think of like the better way to say that. But if you're just giving kind of objective feedback, like, oh, a citation's needed here, or oh, maybe reword this or whatever, that is something that I think is very easy to make a decision for yourself. But when it comes to something like aesthetics, or even like the structure of a document, of like how you might read it.
I caught myself on that in like a previous version. I was like, oh, you could do blank. And I was like, oh, that's not my, like, yeah, you could do anything, but like, that's what makes it your document.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just, and it's good that like, we've talked about the feedback process a lot for sure. So it was nice I think that's what informed me, be like, oh, I need to not say this. And I was trying to be very intentional about it because it sucks.
Yeah. And I think like there is a difference between, even if you had like made all those comments, there is a difference between just making the changes and kind of accepting the fact that you think you're right, and then also just putting a suggestion there that could possibly lead to a further discussion. Like, I don't know. I guess I don't want it to seem like when I get feedback, I don't want people's raw opinions. But I also don't want them to give them in a way that makes them seem like they are correct. And I think you do a really good job at that. And I think collectively, you, me, and Johnny, because we look at each other's work all the time, like we collectively do a pretty good job at that. And I think like, aw. Did you hear Max?
No, like, well, yes, I heard Max.
Yeah, no, I guess like, when does it become that you just don't want to receive the opinions, and when does it become that you want to receive the opinions but have a further discussion? Because like, what if your opinion is something that they want to take into account, but you don't think that it's what they want?
Maybe it's the unsolicited opinions.
Okay.
And this is something you and I also again talked about months ago, was I think in the past, just being slightly younger Kevin, I was like, you never set up the feedback process. You're just like, oh, here, could I get some feedback? And it's so open-ended. And you've had like framing questions and things like that. And I think maybe that's the way around it, is saying, because I think, and I think this came up in a podcast I was listening to about like, there's different stages, right? Like, and you have to recognize that, Johnny's someone that can see something completely bare bones, like totally in the beginning stages. It's not formulated at all because they're going to treat it nicely. So maybe that, like, you have those people that are like, I want your opinions in that sense.
Mm-hmm.
But with something with this document, like, you've obviously thought about it for weeks and months beforehand, and now you're sharing it. So like you have your own opinions put into it on purpose generally.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
is it that easy?
I mean, yeah, I guess so. I guess there are so many factors that kind of impact the way that you would receive feedback. Like the feedback that you would give on just like an outline of my document was going to be different from the middle stages, from the end.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it is up to the reviewer to be very aware of the different stage of document that they're looking at. And a lot of times people aren't. They're just like, oh, let me just go to town on this, no matter even if it's the first draft or the last draft.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that's a really good point, is that you do recognize that this, because I even was explicit and said, this is probably going to be my last round of feedback, which means I'm relatively comfortable with the document. I just needed like a little bit more whatever. So maybe it's just maybe it is like the person who's asking for feedback to be as explicit as possible, and then the reviewer to just not be shitty. I think that's just like,
And therein lies the problem. And I think it's something that comes up, and you'll have to deal with it probably more intentionally. Like, okay, so with submitting the sense making paper, this is interesting and loops into it. The way, oh, okay. No, the way the the way the process works is we submitted it once, and then you get review. You either get rejected, completely rejected with reviews, meaning like modify it, or accepted, right? And what do you got there, Leah?
of Reese's cup.
You got up to get candy.
Yeah.
And so we got our feedback back on the first round of reviews, and it was pretty intense. Like, one of them was like, definitely, so there were two reviewers. One of them literally just had a bulleted list. It was like, oh, line 5, fix this, blah, 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 blah. And even that, which was so much more minor in a sense, I took very negatively compared to reviewer 1, who wrote like a book essentially, but did it in a very intentional way where they said, okay, this is what I see, this is what I'm thinking, this is how it comes across, reframe it this way. But just, and it was like big reframings, but did it in such like an intentional way that it was very nice. I don't know where that started.
Yeah, so then maybe I think it's a very personal how you are.
But we have to be, it can't just be that. I hope.
I mean, even with like all these trainings and stuff on really anything, people still suck.
I know. And I think a lot of it is just, yes, it physically takes more time to do a better, more meaningful process for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But how do we get out of it? I don't want to end them just like, yeah, some people suck. Like, is that the moral?
I think that's the only solution.
Well, I think that the solution is just educate people in your circle to spread change that way.
Mm-hmm. Educate, but don't belittle.
Did you just come up with that?
I saw it on Twitter, and it seems very relevant.
Yeah, I like that.
In my life. So, educate, but don't belittle. No, okay. So, I think that, I think if you do want to get feedback in a way that is ultimately going to help you and also not make you feel like crap, it maybe should be up to the person asking to be very clear about the kinds of things that they want. So,
and that does also give you like a way to say, hey, I asked for blank, you gave me blank. It's more of a contract as opposed to like, oh, can I get some feedback?
Mm-hmm.
So I like that.
Mm-hmm.
but we're not feedback wanter shaming. We're not saying like it's all on them.
No, for sure not.
It's a relationship.
Yeah. It's definitely a two-way street. You got to put in the effort on both sides.
Correct. So just be better about it. Like, be more, just take a second. It really was that, like, it was just like the little reframings, like put in the comments, you're like, oh, just add a little zhuzh to it, like switch it up a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
That's all it takes, people.
Yeah, and I think it brings into another topic of almost this idea of empathy, I guess, kind of being aware of how your feedback will be received, I think is something that people don't generally think about. And I think it's unfortunate, but in that case, I really don't think there's anything you can do about that. I think then it is up to the person who asked for feedback to be reminded that like this feedback isn't attacking you, I guess, which is something that I struggle with, which is why I'm bringing it up. Like, I think some people can give feedback in a way that belittles the person. But it's not done in malice ever, I don't think. I mean, generally speaking, I think in general, people just want you to be better. And unfortunately, they kind of project themselves onto you in a way that makes you feel bad. And that brings up the whole idea that I'm trying to say is people kind of just lack awareness of how they are with their feedback and how they treat others.
Yeah, and I think that's sorry.
Oh, I was saying it sucks, but yeah.
And I think that's where, like what you were saying, is where the opinion part comes in. They want to make you, but that's what I think that's what I struggle with is I would like to believe that they are with the intention of making my work or whatever better. But I feel like it so easily bleeds into opinion based, especially and maybe with writing, it's a bit different, but then you kind of want that, right? Like you want someone's experience behind their not like Johnny's experience helps inform the feedback he gives us.
Yes.
It's just
so then in that case, I think that it's perfectly appropriate to give all of your opinions on how you would frame something, but you still need to be aware of how you are giving that opinion.
Yeah, how it will be received most likely.
Yeah, and I think I don't know. I guess it's so much easier. You're right. Like it takes so much longer to kind of frame it in a way that will be well received. But honestly, we need to change our value system in academia, and I think that's one of the first steps.
Change the whole value system is the first step.
No, just be aware. Like I don't know. Yeah,
it's a great little. I think we should talk about self-awareness in our next episode if we ever, in about 8 months or so. What were you gonna say?
I forget. I think I was gonna say like, oh, I remember. Actually, no, I shouldn't say that. I'm not gonna say it.
Other big news. I think this is the second time this same Jimmy John's guy has come back to this apartment today.
Do you think he's visiting Steven? Do you think Steven watches our videos?
No.
What if he does? Wouldn't that be absolutely bonkers if he watched them?
There's no way. No.
How do you know?
Yeah, I just hope not. Steven is someone who is my neighbor who Leah found out their name from a package store. Which I don't think is illegal. Like you just looked at a name. That's totally fine. You didn't. I will clarify. I don't think anything was opened. Nothing like that.
No. Why would that be illegal? People has to look at names all the time on mail.
Yeah, but those are the federal employees.
Okay.
Not Leah leaving on Thursday night. Yeah, I think the self-awareness is a big one, which is, I think I mentioned to you that I think we should talk about that because that's like a root of a lot of these problems is like, and it's something I thought about forever. It's like, like the instant you get tenured or whatever, do you just forget what it was like to be a different human? Or like, it seems so confusing to me.
I agree. And I think that is the absolute root of everything.
Bold statement,
100%.
I could get behind.
And then on top of that root, emotions is on top of that.
What do you mean?
Like being able to accept the fact that you are allowed to feel what you feel. And I think that kind of couples with being emotional or like self-awareness and how you are coming across to others is just understanding that we are allowed to go through things, experience things, and we're allowed to feel. And I think a lot of times in the environment we're in, emotions aren't really talked about or valued. So I think that's another route, a step up from the self-awareness route.
So maybe let's make our framework for fixing academia. I said that to a friend who's not in academia today, and even she was like, Kevin, it's academia.
Really?
On earth. And I was like, geez, I didn't know you had a strong opinion. Like she was like, yeah, academia sounds absolutely ridiculous.
I agree.
But yeah, well, it'll be Leah and Kevin's framework for fixing education, academia. And that'll be the theme of our semester with our 1.5 years of experience in graduate school.
And our thousands of subscribers we have. You guys can send in your suggestions.
Yeah. Well, I think that's actually timed out pretty well. Like that was a good little, I'm not gonna lie, that felt like a good episode.
I think so too. I'm gonna go roast some cauliflower. But I'm not going to use my air fryer. Oh, I got an air fryer for those of you who want to know. I got an air fryer and it's life-changing, but I don't think cauliflower is the best to put in it.
Can you expand?
Because the last time I did it, the cauliflower on the outside got really brown and kind of burnt, but it was still crunchy.
So it almost cooks too fast.
Yeah, and I like cauliflower to be kind of soft.
So maybe this adds a step, but you could pre-steam it and then put it in.
Okay, so how do I steam it?
Do you have?
No.
We could do this off camera.
Oh yeah, okay. Okay, well, everybody, thank you for tuning in. We are so appreciative for the support. And we'll be back sometime soon, maybe, to talk about self-awareness in the academy.
And we actually mentioned this like 8 months ago when we did an episode, but I think we should get Johnny back. Our number one guest, I think we should.
For sure. Number one guest, number one fan, everyone. That video has the most views. Like,
does it really?
No, but I'll just say it does.
You can just go and watch it a bunch of times, and it'll.
I do that sometimes because it is nice. Okay. Oh, okay. Well, we're gonna go. And I
wonder if I still have all those files.
then you have to stop the recording.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. There's no need to go.